friends. Our goal today is to learn about tone. Tone is the author's attitude or a character's attitude as they're speaking and what they're doing or their opinion about what they're doing. We're going to look at an example from The Absolutely True Diary of a Part-Time Indian to learn more about how to figure out the tone. In this story, the main character and narrator, Junior, identifies as Native American and moves to an all-white school. Roger, a white student at the new school, calls Junior a racial slur. Read below to find out Junior's reaction. As I read this, I want you to think, what is Junior's tone? What is his attitude about this situation? Let's read. I felt like Roger had kicked me in the face. That was the most racist thing I'd ever heard in my life. Roger and his friends were laughing like crazy. I hated them. And I knew I had to do something big. I couldn't let them get away with that shit. I wasn't just defending myself, I was defending Indians, black people, and Buffalo. So I punched Roger in the face. He wasn't laughing when he landed on his ass, and he wasn't laughing when his nose bled like red fireworks. I struck some fake karate pose because I figured Roger's gang was going to attack me for blooding their leader, but they just stared at me. They were shocked. You punched me, Roger said. His voice was thick with blood. I can't believe you punched me. He sounded insulted. He sounded like his poor little feelings had been hurt. I couldn't believe it. He acted like he was the one who'd been wronged. You're an animal, he said. I felt brave all of a sudden. Yeah, maybe it was just a stupid and immature schoolyard fight. Or maybe it was the most important moment of my life. Maybe I was telling the world that I was no longer a human target. So what I'm noticing in this text is that one student hit another after they heard a racial slur. I'm trying to think about Junior's tone here. The first step to figure out a tone, the first thing you have to do is figure out which words stand out. What does the text say? So if I'm thinking about things that stand out, one thing I'm noticing is that the first line says, Roger kicked me in the face. That's a pretty violent reaction. Not only did he get told something, but it feels like a physical response. That feels pretty shocking to me. Some other things I'm noticing are that Junior was defending himself. He needed to defend himself. Defending stands out. He even repeats it several times. What else stands out? He strikes a karate pose. It looks like he's about ready to fight back. It also stands out to me down here. He repeats a bunch of times with these short little sentences. I couldn't believe it. What's happening? What's happening? It sounds to me like he's a little shocked. I then want to think, what does the text mean? What tone does it show? Tone is always a feeling word. It's some kind of attitude. Here, I'm noticing a pattern of him feeling shocked or kind of ready to pounce or fight. Shocked is the feeling, so I'm going to use that. But then I want to think, why does it matter? How does it help develop a character or idea? Check this out. Here's what you're going to be doing in your book group today. You're going to be tracking with your own text. What does your text say? What does it mean? What's the tone? And why does it matter? Let's check this out for Absolutely True Diary of a Part-Time Indian. The first thing I noticed in that text is what he said. He felt like he was kicked in the face when someone called him a racial slur. What does it mean? Junior feels shocked after Roger says a slur to him. If I feel kicked in the face, that's pretty shocking. Typically, there's not a foot in my face. Why does it matter? I need to make a bigger picture connection. I said, Junior aspires to get revenge on Roger by punching him in the face. This builds on the racial conflict that Junior faces at his new school. Interesting. What I'm noticing is that just from this quote, I learned two things. I learned about a character. He has an aspiration, which is part of Flava that we learned about last week. He aspires for revenge. He's pretty motivated for that now because he got punched or told a racial slur. And it builds on a conflict. Conflict we know is a big part of stories. We learned that in our first project. This builds on the racial conflict he's facing after he moves to the white school. Here's your job now. With your own book, you're going to complete the chart to track how the tone develops in your text. This is your book club book. Go and track at least 1, 2, 3 pieces of evidence that show the tone in your story. Explain what they mean tell the attitude or feeling behind them, and then explain why they matter. Make a conclusion about a character, conflict, or theme. At the end of the block, Mr. Kwan will call one person out loud to share, so make sure you're ready. You're going to do great. If you need to review this video, go back. Otherwise, get started by reading your book right now and collecting evidence.